Welcome to the update, your quick hit of what matters, what's wild, and what's worth talking about.
Magazine page. The wind happened to blow her way. On it, a ballerina, mid-leap, delicate, impossibly elegant, held a pose that seemed to come from another universe. That moment, that scrap of paper, would become the spark that changed the course of her life. Years later, the world would know her as Michaela DePrince. And at just 29 years old, the world would lose her, far too soon and for reasons still unknown. Michaela's life began in Sierra Leone during a brutal civil war. She was born Mabinti Bangura, a child who knew loss long before she ever knew safety. Her father was killed by rebel forces and her mother, starving and ill, died not long after. Left alone, she was placed in an orphanage where cruelty was common and survival wasn't promised. Because she had vitiligo, a skin pigment condition, she was labeled an outcast. Staff ranked children from most desirable to least, and she was placed at the very bottom. The last to eat. The last to be comforted. The last to be chosen. But then came that magazine cover. A ballerina in a pink tutu. To the adults around her, it was a piece of trash. To Michaela, it was a lifeline. She folded it, hid it, and cherished it. It became the picture she prayed her future might look like one day. Her life changed when an American couple, Elaine and Charles DePrince, arrived in Sierra Leone to adopt. They met Michaela, saw beyond her vitiligo, and brought her home to the United States. For the first time, she had her own bed, her own clothes, and love that didn't have conditions. She was given a new name, Michaela DePrince, and a chance to dream freely. Her adoptive mother noticed Michaela's fascination with dance and placed her in ballet lessons. Michaela showed talent immediately, but the world of classical ballet, steeped in rigid traditions and narrow images of beauty, wasn't always welcoming. She was told she didn't fit the part. She was told audiences weren't ready for a black girl to lead a ballet. She was even told her body type was wrong. Each barrier could have stopped her. None did. Michaela trained relentlessly. Philadelphia, New York, Amsterdam. Injuries tried to slow her down. Racism tried to silence her. Trauma followed her like a shadow. But her determination was something almost physical, a force that kept pulling her forward. She began to rise. She starred in the documentary First Position. She performed with the Dance Theater of Harlem, captivating audiences with her power and grace. She joined the Dutch National Ballet, then the Boston Ballet. She appeared in Beyoncé's Lemonade. She wrote a memoir with her mother. And she became an advocate for children affected by war. Children who lived stories that looked too much like her own. But behind the applause were battles few ever saw. Michaela was open about the trauma she carried from childhood. She spoke about nightmares, about fear, about the weight of expectations. She took time off from dancing to focus on healing her mind, not just her body. She wanted people to understand that even those who appear strong can be fighting quiet, exhausting wars inside themselves. In September 2024, news broke that Michaela had died in New York at the age of 29. No cause was given. No further explanation came. The world seemed to pause. Dancers, artists, teachers, and young girls who had once seen themselves in her poured out messages of grief and gratitude. Just one day after her passing, her adoptive mother Elaine died as well, a heartbreaking twist that deepened the loss felt around the globe. And so we are left with questions. We are left with admiration. We are left with the undeniable truth that genius and vulnerability often walk side by side. The cause of Michaela's death may never be publicly known, but the cause of her impact is unmistakable. She was a girl who refused to be defined by hardship. A woman who turned pain into purpose. A dancer who broke stereotypes wide open. Her life reminds us that hope can grow in the unlikeliest places. It reminds us that one act of kindness, one adoption, one opportunity, one belief in a child, can redirect an entire universe. It reminds us that representation matters, that beauty comes in many shades, and that dreams can survive even the harshest beginnings. Most of all, her story leaves us with this. Even in her short life, Michaela DePrince lifted others higher. She danced not just for herself, but for every child who, like her, once felt invisible. And in that way her legacy continues. Every time a young dancer steps on stage and believes that she too belongs there.